Right. Good morning, viewers, and welcome to the trade setup right here on BloombergQuint. It's actually become a very interesting morning because of the developments early morning in trade, and I'll tell you about them in a bit. First, uh, the bigger news flow is worrisome. There are causes for concern. The U.S.-China spat shows no signs of easing. If anything, it's only perking up. That is one key variable, I think, for world markets by and large. What might add fuel to fire is China moving closer to imposing the Hong Kong security law. And viewers, you would remember all the protests that had happened in Hong Kong the last time. Something similar, a whiff of this was going to happen, and what had happened in Hong Kong. And I think this is actually very close to getting passed, which might actually bring about a lot of stress. I mean, it impacts Hong Kong as an entity overall, and the free status that it has. But that notwithstanding, it probably has the components of bringing about stress between US and China as well, and has the possibilities of bringing the Hong Kong markets lower. Remember, the Hong Kong market starting off about 2.5 to 3% lower in today's session, any which ways. And as I saw a story on our website, BloombergQuint.com, there is a heightened tension between India and China as well along the border, which might not augur well on the geopolitical front and therefore the sentiment too. So now there are causes for concern on the geopolitical front, which will have an impact on the markets. Never mind what's happening to the reopening of the economy. So you have to bear that at the back of your mind, viewers. Keep all of those in focus. Now, as a result of that, or otherwise, U.S. markets had come off. Asia starting off on a mixed footing, but as I said, I mean, the ones that you might be seeing on your screen might have iffy trades, marginally in the green, marginally in the red, but the Hang Seng was certainly down about 3% in the session, and over a period, maybe the Asian screen might also continue to show a bit of a downtick. So that is part one. Part two, SGX Nifty is not as worse off as it was at the start of the trading day, primarily because of two things. I mean, you will see the numbers on your screen on the SGX Nifty, notwithstanding the numbers not being there. The fact remains that SGX is likely to start off slightly lower, but there are some positive cues or some things to watch out for, namely Reliance, and I'll get to that in a bit. And the Reserve Bank of India governor is going to address uh, the, the media and public at large at 10 a.m. Now, what is that nature of the announcements? We do not know, obviously so, but that could keep the markets on tenterhooks until 10 a.m. It obviously would be some bit of a reform of sorts or some bit of help out, I would reckon, and let's wait and watch what happens there. So as a result of that, I would reckon, my personal belief is that when you look at the markets by and large, what could happen in the session today is anybody's guess, but you might probably have a start which is reasonably, which is lower for sure. Banking stocks continue to see selling at higher levels. Let's see if that changes. And the economy opening up related stocks might actually continue to do well. I will watch out for UPL and JSW Steel on the results. So that's the other interesting one, sets of names to watch out for. But key things to monitor. First, Reliance Industries. KKR has agreed to invest about 11,400 crores for a 2.32% stake in Geo Platforms. So the valuation doesn't change, which is a large sum of money, 11,400 crores coming in. And the total stake sale done by Reliance, including this one, is about for about 17.1% stake for Geo Platforms, that is about 78,600 crores. Can you imagine YTD over $10 billion raised by Reliance, including the rights issue? As my colleague Somit told me, Reliance net debt comes off by 82%. In a scenario like this, Reliance reduces net debt by 82%. That's quite something. Let's wait and watch. It brings about a bit of a spurt in the Reliance industry stock in the session today. Remember, the rights issue is still on. I would watch out for the economy opening stocks as well. The likes of PVR, Interglobe Aviation, Aditya Birla Fashion, Indian Hotels. I've chosen different brackets, but these are the nature of stocks that could be active in the session today. Remember, Indian Hotels and Mahindra Holidays, both of them went up as well yesterday. And I think there's some clarification that came in that airlines are not mandated apparently to keep the middle seats empty. Not completely sure about this, but do your checks. Maybe it's not as bad for aviation as well, because the capacity utilizations might still be okay. Let's wait and watch how these shape up. Bandhan Bank, an update on Cyclone Amphan. I think they mentioned that 49 banking units, which is the micro banking outlets in 5 districts, were impacted, and they've affected the Amphan affected portfolio is expected to be regularized only by Q3. I dare say the microfinance institutions and the small finance banks have their hands full with migrants, with the cyclone now for an entity like Bandhan. So I think it should be. It's not the best of news, to be honest. Not the best of news for GMR also after the JSW Energy power sale getting stopped for the time being. They have released that Mihan India has cancelled the contract for development of the Nagpur airport awarded to the company as well. This is as per Bloomberg, and this should not be great news either. Last but not the least, Coforge, which is the former NIT Technologies, they've announced the buyback for about 19.5 lakh shares, which is at a price of 1725 rupees, the premium of 20%. Buyback, remember, opens on May 29, closes on 11 June. The record date was way back. The reason I bring it up is because the buyback, a small one, is at a 20% premium. If the stock reacts, you know why it is reacting. But I dare say, viewers, things to watch out for today are two or three actually. One, the overarching stress because of the US China spat and the stress along India and China as well. So, China is the pain point for the world markets at large, Hong Kong being the other one. Imagine three important pieces of information related to China, all geopolitical in nature. There is the RBI Governor press conference at 10. We will be there at BloombergQuint Live, so you can log in and try and hear everything that he's saying, and then we'll of course do an analytical piece after that too. And of course, Reliance Industries and whether this can bring about a spurt. So Reliance and HDFC, which I would have otherwise said would looking weak, but actually not look all that weak on open. Let's see how they trade during the course of the day. But thanks for tuning into the trade setup today. Have a safe time and have a good trading day ahead.